Gulf Coast Challenge down in the port city of Mobile, Alabama. A little Mardi Gras, a lot of football, but wait a minute. Tuskegee versus Alabama A&M? Ted, who are you rooting for? Who do you think I'm rooting for? Find out what happened next on the Alabama A&M Football Review with head coach CONNELL MAYNOR.
Welcome to the Alabama A&M Football Review. Highlights, features, and analysis with head coach CONNELL MAYNOR. Brought to you by Protective Life, Union Chapel Missionary Baptist Church, and University Kia.
Good evening and welcome to the Alabama A&M Football Review with head coach CONNELL MAYNOR. I'm your host, Ted Dixie. The Bulldogs go down to Mobile, Alabama for the Gulf Coast Challenge and win 45-35. But, Coach, there are lots of superlatives and backstories to this game. First thing I've got to ask you is, how's your tooth?
Oh, it's still bothering me unbelievably. But hopefully here in the next day or two, I'll go away. I'll be back to normal. So.
Coach had some difficulty. I had some difficulty on Friday before we left. So, if you're a dentist and you want some exposure or at least some patience, give us a call. Coach, again, when adversity presents itself, there's a fine speaker, Brandon Roy, at the luncheon on Friday who talked just about that. How did adversity affect us on Saturday night?
Well, we got out to a lead and they cut it. They cut it to 3 points. That's adversity when things don't go your way. But it's not about the adversity. It's about what you're going to do after the adversity hits. And after they cut it to 3, our guys kind of woke up a little bit, and I think we had 14 unanswered points before they scored again. Then we scored again to make it a 10-point game. So you can always have adversity in football games, but it's how your kids react to that adversity is going to determine the outcome.
The penalty stat for the ball game, Tuskegee had double the penalties that you had. Is there a way that penalties or the way a team plays, especially an undisciplined team, ends up dragging your team into that kind of ball game?
Well, you could try because, you get a lot of shoving and bad play after the play, and your guys tend to react. And so we teach our guys is not to react. If anything, if you get pushed, fall down. And all I can do is try to warn the referees that, hey, these guys are doing this after the play, they're doing this. And so y'all need to watch it or else the game gonna get out of hand, get ugly.
But of course, the Gulf Coast Challenge is becoming a big event on the coast, and it was announced last week that Jackson State will play the Bulldogs in Mobile in 2022 and 2024. When we come back, we'll take a look at the first half highlights right here on the Alabama A&M Football Review with head coach CONNELL MAYNOR.
Don't get hit hard by low trade offers.
Get up to $5,000 over Kelley Blue Book fair market value for any trade at University Kia. Check out our large selection of new Kias. University Kia proudly supports Alabama A&M University football. Go Bulldogs!
Brian Hicks, Director of Athletics, Alabama A&M University.
I'm CONNELL MAYNOR, Head Football Coach, Alabama A&M University.
Coach, are you ready for some football?
I was born ready. So, get your season tickets today.
Woo!
The Nature Boy.
In golf, if you make a mistake, there is a mulligan. Well, in God, if you make a mistake, there is mercy. Aren't you glad God has mercy for your mistakes? Hello, I am PT, Pastor Troy. I want to invite you to come and worship with us at the Fellowship of Faith, where Jesus is exalted and the Word is explained. We love Alabama A&M. Go Bulldogs.
Good evening, and thank you for watching the Alabama A&M Football Review with head coach CONNELL MAYNOR. I'm your host, Ted Dixie. Just in case y'all might have forgotten, show them your ring, coach. Yeah, we just had to give you a quick reminder. The Bulldogs were ahead at halftime, coach. You started out with a 17-point lead. Then you end up, Tuskegee gets a chance to get back in the ball game. What's going on during that?
We just got a little sloppy right before half. Then we had a turnover, Gary's.
Yes.
And then Quill had a turnover. So we just got a little sloppy with the opportunity to really take control of the football game. And we did the same thing last week against Bethune before the half. So we got to get that cleaned up. We got to learn how to finish and finish strong. And we'll get our opponents down, put our foot on their neck and twist.
Dwayne Taylor, your offensive coordinator, was quite upset at halftime. His comment to me was that we need some killer instinct. And some people look at the score and say, you got some.
You know, no. He's referring to what we just talked about. We up 17-zip, and we got the ball driving. We got to score there and go up 24-zip. And then we got it back and turn it over again. So we scored those 2 times. We got 35 points in the first half. Now that's a killer instinct, you know. We're not satisfied just because we're winning at halftime with the score, just because we're up. We're looking at how we play. And that's what's going to prevail you to winning championships, is doing the little things and doing it consistently over time. Flashes of greatness will get you beat. And so if you're just going to make 1 or 2 plays a game, you're going to probably wind up losing the football game, because other teams are going to make a whole bunch of plays and they're going to be more consistent. And so that's what we talk about when we talk about killer instinct, killing an ant with a hand grenade, finishing your opponent off, leaving no doubt.
Of course, Coach Tuskegee played a hard-hitting football team. You have a great deal of respect for Coach Slater, as do many coaches do around the college football world. Did they give you any wrinkles to the ball game? How did they present themselves? Or was it, as most people say, just like it was on film?
Well, for the most part, it was. We knew they was going to play hard. We knew they weren't going to quit, and they did that, showed that in the first half and cut the lead. And then they showed again in the second half and cut the lead to 3. But it's a Slater team. You know, they're going to play hard. They're going to be tough. They're going to hit you. And he had a couple of wrinkles with the onside kick. You know, he did an onside kick and they recovered it and got some little momentum going there and went down and scored. And that's what can happen, man. You know, you fall asleep, offense can go 14 unanswered points, and next thing you know, it's a ball game.
And of course, momentum becoming a great part of a football game, Coach. Now, when you let Tuskegee back in it in the first half, what happened with the onside kick?
With theirs, and when they kicked it, I mean, it was just well executed. You know, we had our regular kick return team in, and he started off like he was going to run and kick, and then he went off to the side real quick and came and kicked it to the left, and we just fell asleep on it a little bit, and we'll get that cleaned up. And those guys, that's those guys' job, is to make sure the ball is kicked over their head before they move, and he didn't do it. So again, doing the little things. If you don't do the little things to get you beat, you do the little things to recover that and make them look crazy. So we just got to buckle down and buy in and listen to every little thing that we tell them to do.
Again, we'll refer back to the game film. Was Tuskegee the exact team you thought you would see, but they had a quarterback change in the first half, so did that present some wrinkles to your defense?
Well, I think both of those guys was pretty much similar. They was 6'4", 6'5", both slender guys, both athletic, and they gave us some problems with their legs just by avoiding sacks. We got a lot of pressure, but they was able to avoid sacks and extend the play and actually run it with their legs and then throw a couple passes. So they was elusive, and they gave us a couple problems.
Of course, there's no rain. The weather was beautiful in Mobile, Alabama. The Bulldogs went up 17, as you heard Coach say, and then Tuskegee comes back. Coach has referred to maybe the razor's edge of the Bulldogs trying to get that back, and we'll see where that showed up. We come back with the second half highlights from the Gulf Coast Challenge right here on the Alabama A&M Football Review with head coach CONNELL MAYNOR.
Parker is 29 and learning to communicate again. The students teaching him earn a degree with 100% job placement. But the real reward is changing a life. At Alabama A&M, it's a university where agencies actually go to recruit compassionate students who help themselves by helping others. Service is sovereignty at Alabama A&M University. Start here, go anywhere.
Don't get hit hard by low trade offers.
Get up to $5,000 over Kelly Blue Book fair market value for any trade at University Kia. Check out our large selection of new Kias. University Kia proudly supports Alabama A&M University football. Go Bulldogs!
Union Chapel Missionary Baptist Church, a church with a big heart of love. Located at 315 Winchester Road in Huntsville, Alabama. Under the leadership of Dr. O. Wendell Davis. The worship services begin at 7:45 a.m. and 10:45 a.m. every Sunday. Now, we pray that you are blessed by our worship experience.
Hello, I'm Pastor Troy. The game of football is a lot like the game of life. You have to tackle your problems and block your fears. I just want you to know there is victory in Jesus. I want to invite you to worship with us at one of our anointed services at our Huntsville campus or our Madison campus. At the Fellowship of Faith, Jesus is exalted and the word is explained. We love Alabama A&M. Go Bulldogs!
Companies hunger for our food scientists. Here, a new generation manages our cities of tomorrow. The discovery of hardier plants, healthier animals, is growing at our research station, Alabama A&M University, where new designs and ideas are put to the test. Be a researcher in our labs, or a forestry fire dog in our fields. Alabama A&M University. Start here, go anywhere.
Welcome back to the Alabama A&M Football Review with head coach CONNELL MAYNOR, and I am your host, Ted Dixie. Coach, hard-hitting second half of football. Great job. I mean, for the person watching the game, it was quite interesting, but you didn't want it to get close at 38-21.
No, I didn't. We want to get a W, but we don't want to come down to a one-play game. And one-play games, anything can happen. Offense, defense, special teams. All you got to do is make one play. You can block a punt, return a kick, intercept the ball, scoop, score, sack, fumble. So you don't want to be in those one-possession games. Anything can happen. So you want to at least have a two-possession game cushion heading down that fourth quarter in the stretch.
When you're coming off the field at the end of the first half, Coach, the crowd size was different than it was when you came back out of the locker room in the second half. How did seeing all that maroon and white in the stands help y'all out?
Oh, it was great, man. I looked back a couple of times, and outside was almost packed, almost full to the edge. So, Tuskegee normally travels well. They had a decent crowd over there, but I think we might have had twice as many people as they did.
Definitely.
And so our people showed up and showed out, and that's what I like to see. I like to come and support these young men that work so hard every day, put so much time in, blood, sweat, and tears to prepare, and then they get rewarded by having nice crowds out there to cheer them on.
Coach, your schedule in the first part of the first third of this season has been up and down. We've been played a game, then you're off a week. Play another game, but it's not on Saturday, it's on Thursday. You get a long layoff, and then you still have to travel to this game. How did all that scheduling affect your practice?
Just normal. I mean, when you got an open, well, not one quite an open week. It was an open week, but it was only 10 days. So it was, we had to practice on different days than we normally did. So we had to practice on Sunday because of that. And yeah, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Wednesday was travel day because we played on Thursday. So then after the Thursday game, we gave them off until Sunday. We came back regular Sunday, and then Monday was their off day. And so then it was just regular Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday practice. So you just got to make little small adjustments, and depends on what time of the year it is. Early in the year, you still may do some running or a little extra running. Late in the year, when your team is in shape, you won't have to do as much. You can just go out there and do some 7-on-7, do the fundamentals, and let them go.
Of course, now, Coach, you're looking forward to your next ball game. Bulldogs have to go on the road again. Now you're back out, not in the friendly confines of Louis Cruz Stadium. Do you get a little homesick?
No, we all right. We're here for most of the time. We just gone for a couple of days, leave the day before the game and come back after the game. So we're here 5 days out of the week. We're gone too. We don't mind that. I like the road games, keep our team together. We're thinking about football, looking at your reports, scouting reports, and keep you focused. Keep away from all the parents, uncles, aunts coming in, your girlfriends, your friends, everybody asking for tickets. Those type things, you can stay focused a lot better on the road.
Of course, Coach, we talked about it earlier in the broadcast. I know what it's like to have a physical issue and then still have to work. This is the first time we've seen you in a position where you're not the strong guy we're used to seeing all the time. How did your team react to that?
I don't know, Ted. I think they kind of knew I wasn't myself, and but they knew I was fighting and I was going to be there for them. So I guess that's a question you have to ask those guys.
Okay. And then at the end of the game, we had a lot of bumps and bruises. We got to see that. Lots of helmets coming off in the ball game. I think we had 3 consecutive plays where someone lost their helmet on the field. And then you're trying to get prevent a team from coming back on you. All those kind of things swirling around you. What were you saying to your team to bring them right back here?
Well, I guess got to keep fighting. We knew they was going to fight. I knew they was going to be fighting. I told those guys, and Friday and Saturday, as you see, when I came on the field, I had a shirt on that said, "Respect all, fear none." And so I wanted them to know that I respect y'all, but we're not going to fear y'all. But I want my team also to know you got to respect everybody and fear none. Okay. And so that was my message for wearing that shirt those 2 days. I wanted the guys to know, look, we came up here a day early, but respect all and fear none, okay? This is a good football team, good program, and we got to play well. And we didn't do that. We didn't play our best football. We did get the W, but we didn't play our best football. But you got to take your hats off to Slater and his team too. They got scholarship athletes too, so we just got to be better prepared and execute a little bit better.
What do you think about might happen to get your Razor's Edge back this week?
We just got to have good practices. It won't be hard getting these guys up to play Grambling. We go there, and they were supposed to come here last year with COVID. It didn't happen, so this will be our second time playing them in 3 years, and we got to go there again. So that's not a big issue. We won all 5 games in the spring on the road, so we're ready to go.
What was the issue? Wasn't Grambling supposed to come here this year?
It was last year. The spring they were supposed to come in.
We thought that there was a ruling from the conference that because they pulled out of the game, that later on down the road they would have to lose one of their home games to us.
Right, it will, but they just didn't do it this year.
Okay.
It'll probably be in the next 2 years.
All right. When we come back on the Alabama A&M Football Review, we'll talk about the Bulldogs' next opponent, the Grambling State Tigers, down in Grambling, Louisiana.
Darryl brings new energy to the power plant. Julian's accounting is by the numbers. They're student interns from the College of Business and Public Affairs at Alabama A&M University, where marketing class connects with the community and companies come to recruit. So while Kyle strengthens his managerial skills, he's earning a business degree and experience at Alabama A&M University. Start here, go anywhere.
Bulldog fans, the Alabama A&M Athletics Department is calling on you to help our student athletes. The Bulldog Strong Fund focuses on our student athletes by encouraging competition. During this global pandemic, competitive excellence takes on a new definition for our Bulldogs. This fund enhances our efforts to ensure our athletic department can service each team to become a prominent national competitor in all aspects of NCAA Division I athletics. Donation to the Bulldog Strong Fund will be used to cover student athletic scholarships, supporting recruiting efforts, and creating additional health and wellness initiatives. We're under tough and challenging times, but with your support, the Bulldogs Strong Fund will thrive. Donations of all sizes make a huge difference and are greatly appreciated. Visit amusports.com to learn more about the Bulldogs Strong Fund and how you can donate now. Thank you in advance for your continued support of Alabama A&M athletics and our student athletes. Go Bulldogs!
Union Chapel Missionary Baptist Church, a church with a big heart of love. Located at 315 Winchester Road in Huntsville, Alabama. Under the leadership of Dr. O. Wendell Davis. The worship services begin at 7:45 a.m. and 10:45 a.m. every Sunday. Now, we pray that you are blessed by our worship experience.
Engineering and science usually look like this, but our students build race cars from the ground up, explore wind tunnels, particle accelerators, and crystal growth. Our studies in cybersecurity and rocket propulsion have tech companies like Google and SpaceX recruiting at Alabama A&M University, with one of the highest percentages of women STEM graduates in the country. Alabama A&M University. Start here, go anywhere.
Thank you for watching and welcome back to the Alabama A&M Football Review with head coach CONNELL MAYNOR. I'm your host, Ted Dixie. Coach, we'll talk about what is now a new feature for us, the drive of the game. The Bulldogs go on a 16-play drive, took up like 8 minutes. Coach, it culminated with a touchdown pass to O.J. Odu-Hilaire from Aquil Glass. Remembering that concept, Coach, what was going on during that drive? What did you have to happen?
We need to do what we did. We needed to score. We need to take some time off the clock. Normally, you know, people say going to your 4-minute offense in that situation. But we had 8 minutes. I looked up at the clock and I remember seeing 8 minutes or so on the clock. So I knew we needed more than a 4-down situation where we didn't just need to run the ball. We need to go out and use our offense. And we did. We came out with Quins, our 5-receiver package. And they didn't want to let us throw the ball deep. You know, they were playing their safeties high and trying to force us to run the ball and throw up underneath. And so that's what we did. And we came out and got a completion. Then we moved CJ into the backfield from wide receiver, and we was a 2-by-2 with a running back in the game. And so we kind of had them at a disadvantage because they had their probably 10 personnel in there for all our receivers. And we went inside zone with some options off of it and handed it to CJ. He got the first down, and that got the ball rolling. Then we went back to Quins and threw some more short passes because that's what they was giving us. They was taking the deep pass away. And so we just kept nicking and picking, and they changed the coverage to man, and so once we got down closer to their side and we used about 5 or 6 minutes, then they said, okay, we got to do something different. So they changed the man, and they went man, and so we said, you know what, we take advantage of OJ matchup and man to man. Let's just run him on a corner route, and Aquil executed it perfect. He threw a nice corner route over the top, and OJ caught it for the touchdown, which we know is difficult. It's going to be difficult covering our guys playing man-to-man against us.
The Outlaws.
And they had a good game plan of not doing it the whole game and trying to mix it up and keep two safeties high and don't give up the big play and force us to, you know, nick and pick. And that's what we was able to do. Aquil played a good game, and that was a big drive. It was like a finish off a knife in the back, and just killed everything. And once we scored that touchdown, they kind of knew that was it.
Of course, Coach, we were thinking about trying to get to the end of the game so we could see Belle Biv DeVoe, but there's still a little bit of work left ahead of that. Tuskegee does respond and tries to at least, Coach, make us think that we might be, as you mentioned earlier, 1 or 2 plays away.
Yeah, they did. Like I said, they weren't going to quit. We knew they weren't going to quit. They don't give up. Coach Slater won't let them. He's been doing this too long. He's been successful too long. There's a reason why. He has a formula, and it's a process, and he has it in working well, and those guys respond. And we knew they weren't going to quit. They didn't quit, and they fought for 60 minutes.
The Bulldogs' next opponent will be Grambling State University down in Grambling, Louisiana. Coach Fobbs didn't win a game in the spring. Now he's trying to get his mojo back, if you will. What we got to do to prevent that from happening on the road again?
Well, like you said, it's going to be tough. They playing at home. I think they played in the Classic last week. I'm probably on the road with Prairie View. and lost, so they're going to be hungry. They're going to be hungry for their first conference win. They know they're not out of it with just one loss in the conference, so they know they need to win out. So they're going to be looking to win out and play well. You know, they got their backs up against the wall a little bit, so we got to expect them to go forward on some fourth downs, maybe fake some kicks or punts. So we got to expect everything this week because their backs are up against the wall a little bit. They can't afford to lose two. You can lose one and have a chance, but two you probably won't have a chance. So we got some cleaning up to do though offensively. We got to take care of the ball, do a better job of that. And Quill decision making has got to be a little bit better. Gary got to hold on to the ball. Defensively, we got to get our run fits right. We can't be giving up these big runs. And the coverage, we got to play the coverage. And catch those interceptions we get. We drop a lot of interceptions. So our defensive guys got to really focus on that ball and catch it with your eyes and quit looking upfield. And then special teams, we got to sure about special teams. We got to do a better job on kick return and kickoff.
And of course, the Bulldogs will have that opportunity next Saturday afternoon. The game time start is TBA, so please go to aamusports.com so you can pick up all the game information. Also, we want to say a big thank you to our sponsors this season, Protective Life, University Kia, and of course, your good friend over at Union Chapel Missionary Baptist Church. That's where our good friend Hank Harris goes to church.
Yep, Coach, Pastor Davis.
He coaches us too. Pastor Davis, we thank you so much. You've been a long time asset to the community, and we really appreciate you. So that will do it for this week's edition of the show. Hopefully, but no, prayerfully, we'll talk about another Bulldogs victory next week right here on the Alabama A&M Football Review with head coach CONNELL MAYNOR. Good night.
Bulldog fans, thank you for joining us today for the Alabama A&M University Football Review. Bulldog faithful, we encourage your support and participation. Until next time, go Bulldogs!